Hi, I'm John Keefe. I'm with WNYC Radio, and I'd like to tell you quickly about a project we call the Sourcing Through Texting Project. It's from The Takeaway, which is a show that we produce with Public Radio International. And we were trying to think about how we might connect journalists in takeaway cities across the country with communities in their cities that they might not normally reach out to or have a really good connection with. And we were brainstorming ways we might be able to do this using communication systems already in those communities. And one of the things we came up with, sort of in broad strokes, was to take neighborhoods and connect them to a local station, such as WDET in Detroit, through the simple cell phone, not an iPhone or a smartphone, but just through texting on a cell phone. And we called this the Sourcing Through Texting Summit that we convened in Detroit to actually explore this and try to figure out how we might make those kinds of connections. It was a great mix of people. We had folks from The Takeaway, WNYC and PRI, but also from WDET, the station in Detroit, and American Public Media, their public insight folks. Also, folks from a company called Mobile Commons, which has created a really powerful texting platform, and from the design school at Stanford University, which has helped us do a lot of our thinking and prototyping and brainstorming and developing, and also WLRN in Miami, which is where we hope to go next, and it was involved in the Detroit meeting. All of this was funded by the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation. We brought all these people together with people from Mexicantown and Southwest Detroit. This is a neighborhood in Southwest Detroit where people speak primarily Spanish, mostly first, second, and third generation Mexican immigrants. We learned a lot about their issues and about the pressures facing the community, and also about attitudes towards journalists and other topics we thought might be relevant. We then set to brainstorming how we might make connections, and folks from the community had a lot of opinions about this, talking to the journalists, talking to some technologists about how this could and mightn't work. And then we really set them to thinking about people like Esteban Castro, who is somebody we met in Mexicantown and who's very active in his community. We even invited him to be a part of this discussion. He is a block leader, a part-time truck driver, somebody who is active but not really a big public radio listener. So we brainstormed ideas around people such as him, and also maybe how we might connect to churches or community centers. And the pressure was that by 2 o'clock that afternoon, everybody was going to get on a bus and try out their ideas. And that's what we did. We drove into Southwest Detroit to a place called Cafe Con Leche, which is sort of a center for people to meet and have coffee and discuss issues. And we fanned out into the community from there. And one of the projects, and I'll give you just a sampling of them, was about the trucks passing through the neighborhood. It turns out there's a truck depot nearby, and many of the trucks pass on these residential streets in order to get to that depot. And sometimes they're doing this illegally, putting kids at risk, increasing possibly the asthma level in the area, and certainly just making a lot of noise that people have been upset about for a while, but they didn't know that they had any sort of recourse. We created a little program in the Mobile Commons site where you could text truck to 69866, and it would ask you then for the license plate number and the location that you were at, the license plate number of the truck and the location. This team made flyers right there in the room before we set out, and went out to a place such as the Honeybee Market where they distributed the flyers. They even met a member of a local church, a clergy member of the local church, who was so interested in the topic and didn't realize that a lot of this traffic was illegal. He agreed to put it in the church bulletin. All of this feeding back to the WDET journalists, and also taking some of this information from the WDET website. So that project continues to this day. Text WDET to 69866 was another project. The idea was, as you can see from the sticker that they made that day, stickers that they gave to lots of folks, do you love Southwest Detroit? Text WDET to 69866. And the response you would get was a question saying, hey, thanks for participating. Give us 6 words that would describe your neighborhood or why you love Southwest Detroit. And we got a lot of good reactions. Dance, ice skating, Clark Park picnics, great friendships, diverse place to be involved in. All of these came back, and we invited people who did respond again to come and have a cup of coffee at Cafe Con Leche, and one teacher did come by to tell her story, and that was pretty fun. The news team there hadn't heard these particular issues in this particular school, and they learned a lot. Another example of what we tried out was texting CASA or home to 69866. This tested sort of the bilingual nature of the system that we could deploy. It was really an idea to see if people would be interested in a home and garden contest. And if you texted CASA, you got it in Spanish, and if you texted home, you got it in English. We're taking this, as I mentioned, to Miami in the coming weeks, where we're going to go into Little Haiti and work with the Haitian community there, even having a big community meeting on the second day to talk about these similar issues. In the Detroit community, and we expect also in Haiti community, Little Haiti community, there are lots of issues about how does fear and resentment toward journalists affect people's work in this and affect the ability to connect. We had a lot of discussions about that. What are the roles of trust leaders like community groups, which may have agendas, and how can journalists connect with them and still maintain their independence? A lot of really, really great issues that came up. All really recognizing that participation as citizen sources from community members such as Esteban Castro and the other folks that we met was really key to the success of journalism and public radio. This is the Sourcing Through Texting project. I'm John Keefe.